Regnum Carrier Esports. R8 Esports. Fire Flux Esports. Team Vision. Influence Rage. E Arena. Kinotrope Gaming. AXTMG. Team Falcons.
Yeah, Seven, what do you think about these Brazilian teams?
Yeah, Seven, tell us.
I'm generally surprised, actually. If we go for the Alpha 7, I feel like it set the tone yesterday as we were talking about Fireflux setting the tone for their day yesterday on the first match for Alpha 7. They had such a great play. They have won from that position before in PMSL Americas too, but it was just silly play. Them not being able to clear under the bridge, then also forgetting that there was a non-Red Force player on the South Island as well, and then just fully sending it without any cover. It's just silly plays by Alpha 7, and that's why I'm saying they need to start up with the win. If not, they could be one of those teams that get hot drop.
They're a region alongside a lot of the other ones that we are keeping our eyes on here going into Sandhawk. I want to talk about more, but I'm getting word that the teams are ready to get into our first game. Sandhawk here for day number 2 of the survival stage. Let's head over to the casters for all of the action.
Here we are, the last day of the survival stage, the last chance and last dance for 8 rosters. Half the lobby cut in half move forward, half have their tournament lives ended. So much on the line for so many different reasons. And that team right there, Alpha 7, need to perform well. But hey, as the champions, they've got a target on their back, and everybody is going to be gunning for them, looking to eliminate them, so they are not a threat, at least to them, in the final stage. I'm Taylor Reflections Double, joined by John. It's time to get today started. We move it.
Maintain pace at the top of a table. Try and engage those afterburners from the bottom.
Oke, wo yang itu. Sampai ke kamera. Now it's time for boleh ya gini.
R8, they had a bit of a tussle with the muscle yesterday. We might see round 2 this time around. And from what I'm hearing, one of those rosters thinks they're not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, well,
Hello, Sunday. Big fan.
On the desk before, and he brought us the info, the R8. That's so ready. They're giga
Stay
ready right
tuned
now.
for
They said 10 seconds, so should we start the count now, or once they hit the deck?
2025.
I'm not sure.
Stay tuned.
I expect it to last a little bit longer than that.
10 seconds. 10 seconds would be an impressive team wipe. I'm not going to lie. You need everything to go right. I think for at least R8, if they
Shout
can
out
win it,
to
which I firmly believe they can. Yesterday, they
Legend
showed us
PUBG
the
player.
best gameplay so far. And that includes, of course, the performance yesterday, or excuse me, the other day for group play. But they do land over in Paradise. We are going to have that fight. That engagement is about to go down.
And it's also Nongshim Red Force over on Ruins who have lost a player to AXTMG, who are now spread around on Tambang.
membership system
Really nice pickup. As we do hop in, though, to the
PID
scrap. This is longer than 10
PID
seconds. I'm getting word that 1 minute and 47 is bigger than 10. And that is going to confirm the R8 are full of hot air.
That's it. Well, you know what? Hot air, yes, in the prediction of time constraints. But maybe not in the prediction to wipe out Yangon. Galacticos. Now, we'll say they come in with so much confidence, so much reverence, but if they don't win this fight, that's going to be a big blow to their ego. And also, the stakes are pretty high for this hot drop, and the reason why, well, Yangon Galacticos is a team outside of the top 8, but barely, just barely, 34 to 35. 1 point puts them back into the top 8. That means they're going into finals, and already Hinatrop is actually getting active. Surprisingly, Yangon Galacticos,
the fight has already started.
Let's go. Paradise, and now focus, at least right now, on the solo of Kinotrope.
It feels like the play there for Kinotrope was that they knew there was a hot drop from Paradise. So yesterday, they wanted to try and poke their noses in, maybe set themselves up for a third party. Unfortunately, Yangon Galacticos, they actually just decide to fully disengage. A nice adaptation coming through from them. An early drop down, a couple of weapons if you can, move on south. So Kinotrope, their outpost, that gets spotted, and instead, they are the focus of the pickup. And that point goes to Yangon Galacticos. In the meantime, this AXTMG Nongshim Red Force fight that has been spread around, not inside the ruins this time, seems to be going fairly poorly for both sides.
That's right, yeah, AXTMG got that first knock and full finish on Nongshim Red Force. They lose one, but Red Force has back and managed to take down one from AXTMG. They nearly get a second, and AXTMG says, well, we're dipping out, we're trying to leave, but they actually have to park the bus a little bit. We do have a straggler. Devotee, I believe, is going to be on the hilltop just up to the left area, and Benny might be the next potential victim. He doesn't have any awareness that Devotee is just above him, and you do got some noxious Red Force around, so it would be a big challenge. But for Benny, he's holding his ground.
Yeah, they know he's there. They know exactly what we're playing on. Yeah, drawing attention, burning Benny low as well. Another Molotov forced on through, but still Devotee not going to take the shot. Instead, he's going to leave it all up dry, and it's going to work out. Another knock over towards TZ up on the hillside as well, leaves them playing as one. And Red Force start out slowly, TMG gathering some pace.
Yeah, they had a great day one, right? 48 points. They finish up in the top 5, but there's no guarantee come game 6 that they're still going to be there with everybody gunning for qualifying position into the finals. For Nongshim Red Force, not the start they needed, and also for Kinotrope, not the start that they wanted. They lost a solo early on to Yangon Galacticos, and well, it seems to pull off the hat trick, picking up all 4 Kinotrope out of the first team.
Trying to rotate down south, trying to get a little bit fresh and try and third party that Paradise Resort play. Yangon Galacticos are ready for it. So it's not just R8 who were looking at adaptations there. It was Yangon Galacticos as well. A really prescient decision. And that actually allows them to pick up all the supplies that Kinotrope were able to loot through as well. So even though they had a little bit of a low
win for AXTMG, only losing 1 player in that fight is pretty successful. Team way towards the bottom, getting started early. It's only going to better their chances to making top 8. Team Vision, a roster that performed very well and had stellar moments throughout group play, had a disappointing run throughout day 1 of the survival stage. Team on your screen with all 4 units still looking to work their way up if they can. I do wonder, intense game with Adrian starts to go out there along with another one of his teammates, getting closer to AXTMG, who starts to fire off some shots. Teams need to respect AXTMG where they currently are in ruins. They push too aggressively, they can lose their lives just like Nongshim Red Force did.
The question is, even with good positioning and good performances, for AXTMG, it may be too little too late, right? They're chasing a marathon down where other teams are going for a
Mजा आउँछ
stroll.
दादा हेर्दै जानु न अहिले फाइट हुन
They
सुरु
are on
गरेपछि
12
मजा
points at
आउँछ
the start of this match. Obviously picking up 5 is brilliant, right? But when you're looking at trying to get up towards 70 points today,
Maserati
they
गाडी
need to
Maserati
put
Maserati
up over the course
Okay,
of the
एउटाले घोडाले
day,
हेर्दै थियो
getting up towards, was that 58 points
त्यसलाई भित्ता
to be
चढ्न
able
मिल्दैन
to
भन्दा
get
त
to 70
कसैले
points, and even then it's not certain. So getting 58 points is almost a 10-point average. That is a top team performance level, and it will be really difficult for them to try and earn
ल मर्यो के ल
points.
को चाहिँ मर्यो तर मर्रा चाहिँ मर्यो है
able to be up to the task, because we get a replay of how Kinotrope
म चाहिँ कोही प्लेयरको नि सपोर्ट गर्दिन तर मारे
Right. Solo was
ए हो र
taken
पनि
down
छैन
very early on. Yangon Galactica said, well, let's take advantage of this. Take advantage of this. Let's push into Kinotrope. We know
सन्दीप दाइ कता
basically
जानु
where
हो
their
सन्दीप
whereabouts are
दाइले
going to be.
मेसेज गर्न छोड्नु
Like I said, they pull off the full team wipe. Good on them. So from R8 versus Yangon Galacticus to now the fight for paradise turns around. Yangon Galacticus are gone, and now it's Regnum Karya taking their place. R8 opposite of them. This is another tense fight to talk about what's at stake here. Regnum Karya still relatively healthy within that top 3 position. They can have maybe 1 or 2 bad games before they start to get put on high alert. R8, this is a must-win fight. The shots are starting to ring out. Regnum Karya is going to strike first.
immediately getting that flush as well, earning that point. Damar steps up with the DPS, but it's just a little bit out of range to fully connect, and Regnum Karya just keep this unlocked. 2 players almost immediately. They've survived the hot drop here, Reflections, but it feels like they weren't ready for the second phase of the game, which is called not staying in your drop location.
No, it's going to be up to 2 players from R8, and they pretty much have to fight. I mean, yeah, you can lead this, but I don't think they want to. R8 want to establish paradise if they possibly can. Losing this could very well knock them out. I'm almost guaranteed, really, to knock them out of the top 8 contention, making them forced to fight on Erangel and Miramar. Regnum Karya rolled in. They've been on fire throughout day 1 of the survival stage. They clearly are already off to a great start with 2 players down. Prestige, Marth, they are gone, forced to disengage, and now fight the entire lobby as a duo.
Now let's take a look at the rest of the lobby as well. The circle has centered up towards the north side of Quarry here, which means that there are teams on either side of the Quarry that are going to be able to be a massive barrier to rotations around this circle. Alpha 7 are actually in a very solid spot on the northeast side of this Quarry to stop teams from moving around that east side. Unfortunately, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to farm too many points for it. Well, they'll maybe get 4 from Gamax unless the Falcons try and roll in behind them from Cave on that east side. It's that west side that's going to get a little bit more fraught, and that is going to be up to Fireflux. It's going to be up to E-Arena to be holding down the west side of that Quarry position.
But again, with Alpha 7 being in the position they currently are in the survival stage, a chance to potentially not make it into finals to defend their title, they've got a target on their back. And for Gamax, if they see him, maybe they want to go for the challenge. Hora, you got Fireflux, right? E-Arena, they see Alpha 7, maybe they get a bit more aggressive and put a little bit of extra attention on where they currently are. But I agree with you, John, where Alpha 7 is currently at, I'm feeling quite confident. We look at Falcons, Narvalo with Redox. And Narvalo, that beautiful 1v3 against the roster of Alpha 7 yesterday, put them into the grave in game number 5. But one of the teams that was hurting Falcons the most yesterday was R8. This time around, it doesn't look like they're most likely going to run into each other. Even if they do, Falcons is going to have the numbers, so they might be able to beat their boogeyman. But for Falcons' sake, looking good. You got all the members up. They've got a lot of real estate, not only in front of them, but also behind them, basically a limited line of sight. So for Falcons, I'm expecting a pretty decent game 1, which is historically what they normally start off with.
Well, they'll have to try and keep this one going. They're right on the edge of the south side. They're worried about crossings to their west. They needn't be, but they don't know that, of course. They're worried about teams moving down the west side, rotating in late, coming in from that south edge. There is currently no one playing that area, but they are just being careful. They're crossing their I's and dotting their T's at the moment as it goes. You know, you can flip that one around if you want to, but I prefer this way.
Fair enough. All right, dangerously close to Vision. Volt being the scout. Maybe he calls out R8's weak. Maybe Vision chooses to challenge, but for now, that hasn't occurred. Intense game still out in the blue zone. Forced to go down south across Paradise. Maybe Regnum Karya, being the aggressive roster they are, spot them out and potentially go for a challenge, but I expect IG is going to be just fine. We'll have a zone shift relatively soon. And it is going to center up a little bit. Alpha 7 still feeling pretty good. Fireflex dead center. Vision okay. Yangon Galacticus and Regnum Karya starting to get relatively close. So once IG, Power, right, AXTMG, and especially Falcons way down towards the south start to come up, Falcons especially are going to have their hands full with the Arena and Alpha 7.
We've got a couple of teams on the linchpin positions here. Power, they're going to have to make a decision as to where to move. So that southwest side, the dynamics of it are really going to change depending on if they go north, if they go in towards the center, if they try and head east and fight E-Arena. We've also got that position on the southeast, and Gamax behind Alpha 7 could change things up. There's also that wild card of the Falcons. Everybody else has fairly linear approaches. It can get a little bit predictable, but those are the places where I think things could really change depending on how they want to approach this one.
MX Alpha 7 starting to inch closer and closer to each other. Brinko is way off in the distance. I don't know why he's currently there. He needs to get up there and join his roster if they want any attempt at attacking Alpha 7. But for the meantime, they're just going to continue to be very aware of where they currently are at, but they don't want to challenge necessarily. I do notice Influence Rage, though, as well as AXTMG are starting to get very close. And here comes that Regnum Karya IG rotation. IG going straight past Regnum Karya. The question is, where do they stop? Well, Toshpik says enough is enough. I'm ready to fight.
Vision not quite having sightlines over towards Regnum Karya. Keeps them safe for the moment. An intense game, actually sending out further towards the north, trying to get an angle onto Regnum Karya's rotate in, but they're not going to quite find it there. They're keeping it on lock and key, but there's the first knock, and Rafa lands the spray down onto Wild. Are they going to commit to go for this res? It looks like they want to, but the nades are going to follow it up. That's going to do a lot of damage. Not quite finding the flush just yet.
Knowing intense game, they want to push this. You notice Silence starting to push forward. He's going to take an advanced spot. Silence, though, caught off guard to the left, takes a bit of damage, and now you've got to back up and join your roster. Well, no, maybe push forward. Silence wants to continue. They know they have an early knock. They have the man advantage. Question is, can they continue to take apart Regnum Karya? And the answer is yes. Silas, a power player in his own right, also down. Regnum Karya down to 2.
And there is a res coming on through. Toshpik next to fall down to the floor there, and Regnum Karya all of a sudden relying on Loxy, but he has got the beans. Let's see if he can jump into the fight. Silence now, going low behind the car, will have to hide, go for the heal. Loxy on full HP, but he threads the needle, and the shot is good. A 1v2, Yangon Galacticos could potentially move in. The third party, but they backed off. He's still going. Loxy has more legs in this.
Yeah, Loxy definitely could pull this off if he's careful. Pedrito, though, snake in the grass through the smoke. I think he's going to be the linchpin. Loxy takes damage, forced to retreat, and that's going to be, I believe, Saycloud, if I'm not mistaken, just from behind, taking him out with the third party.
A big flex out into the blue zone there from Yangon Galacticos. He read that he couldn't get a sightline from where he was. He moved out into the blue. It's stage 4. You can survive for long enough, and he took down Regnum Karya. They end their match with only 2 points from that northern side.
But the good thing is, for intense game coming from the Americas region, they got all 4 alive, and they're getting their health back, and now they can challenge Yangon Galacticus. This game could be a stellar one and a great start for intense game to make a miracle run for top 8. The Brazilian team's underperforming. That's what the Death said, and I fully agree, even from the Americas region, right? I'm super passionate about them. But for intense game, this is a great start. Silence once again trying to be that aggressor. This time, he gets fully punished.
Taken down and flushed very, very quickly there. Nades now pouring in. Intense game wants some retribution, but Yangon Galacticos. Won't go down quietly. They left from Paradise Resort. They sliced. Through Kinatrope. I know they're.
Somos do governo, né? Isso não é muito coisa, só que ali, essas vitórias ali, already वर्ष 3 वर्ष फुल टाइम काम गरेको भएको हिसाबमा चाहिँ त्यसरी पाएको हो नि त
Walkout looked like they had the samurai swords, but they've been turned on their owners there, drawn and thrust back to the gut from Yangon Galacticos, and they are playing well from this northern edge.
Intense Game knew they needed to continue to push forward. They're so close to the edge of zone. You can see it here, right? So one thing that I really appreciated for Yangon Galacticos' perspective is they backed away and forced IG to push into them.
Oh, a big nade coming through on the southeast side. Alpha 7, they're starting to fumble on the southeast edge. Finally an answer over towards Yangon Galacticos, over towards Gamax, sorry, but that's Alpha 7 out. Seven said it on the desk. They need to kick off with a win. They've just been denied that. Neptura said it on the desk. So do the other Brazilian teams. And that's the same story for Intense Game on the north.
Alpha 7, I'm ringing the alarm bell. Starting now, game 1. They are already out. They get away with 1 point. They were already outside of top 8. Alpha 7. Struggles continue, and the fact that Gamax, who's been on the struggle bus, takes them out. A full team wipe, everybody stays alive. I'm really worried for our A7 boys.
Are Alpha 7 bad?
Hold on, slow down. I don't think they're bad whatsoever, but something is just not clicking. And I sincerely don't know what it is.
Well, Power seem to have found it, and they are going to mount up for it. Where he's fighting against. So do they. They probably need over, but don't find the knock. They need some backup here. It is just Ralph on this position. Narvalo is off in the distance. They're playing split right now, and Arthur puts another stone up. Oh! Over the top, doesn't fully connect. In the meantime, Narvalo soloing Otta on that northeast side, and actually Otta could change the tune of this one.
Yes,
they could roll straight into Gamax instead of uphill towards Ralph.
They absolutely could, and if they take down Gamax, surely they're going to take down the 2 from Team Falcon. Ralph repositions. E-Arena could also fire some shots on his back end. He needs to be very aware. Of his surroundings and who is currently at play. Ora, nade onto Arthur. Going to be a bitch.
ल ओराको गएछ नि त अब फेरि के घुमिरहेको हो यो चक्र यार छ्या स्ट्रिममा बिजोग भइसक्यो ओराको फाइट चलिरहेछ यार यहाँ बल्ल इको आउँदैन के मैले अडियो फिक्स गरेँ के
To Arthur, going to be a bit short. They've got to continue to.
के हो र यस्तो गर्ने हो इन्टरनेटले यार नो फियर नक भएको रहेछ यार
Push up for Falcons, though, continually getting picked apart. Joker takes down another from the Falcons roster.
पाँचवटा के हेर्नै पाइएन कि यहाँ केही जाते 480p मा हेर्नु पर्छ
Other from the Falcons roster, leaving them as a duo. Hora starting to tighten the vice grip, getting closer and closer to Gamix. Gamix to some top dogs, but for others, starting to shine true. Top 8's getting competitive. Without question, it's still easy to break in. I say easy with an asterisk. Of course, I'm only talking in terms of the amount of points needed to break into top 8 for some of the rosters down below the threshold.
के भएको रहेछ यार
योगसँग पनि कुरा खासै भएको छैन योगसँग चाहिँ कति कुरा हुन्छ के भइरहेछ
कपिराइटको बाबा पनि भयो
Here, Arena starting to take down Influence Rage. The solo.
ओए होराले 8 पोइन्ट निकालेछ नि त योमा 8 किल सही हो 8 किल प्लेसमेन्ट पनि आउँछ होला नै पाइएन के यार मेरो मात्र भनेको
on Influence Rage, the solo from Gamix getting active onto Hora.
स्लिपीले आले फेरि
Eagle's going to be down. Luckily, they recover. They take him out. The question is, will Hora have to fight at it with 3? Yes, they will. A full elimination law. He'll go ahead and die to the blue zone. We're down to our top 3 at the moment. And a great start for Fireflux, who started the day in first place, looking to take game 1, but Sleepy has other plans.
He wants to go a little bit further on this one. Just about darts out of the blue in time to prevent...